Oh, hey, y'all.
Hey.
It's Thanksgiving week. That's it.
Which is, has a lot of sides to it, we will say. In the land of awkward Goddex, we look at it from a very holographic, prismatic, all different facets kind of place.
Yeah. So if you're feeling the feels, like you feel like, I love Thanksgiving. I love my I love this time. I love this time of year. But you also may have a pull that's like, but I also don't love some of these other things.
And if you're learning about the origins of it, it's very natural to be kind of like, ugh, about why it is a holiday and where it comes from, because it's rooted in colonization and oppression and raping and pillaging and all of these things that are not good.
Right. So, we're heart-centered rebels.
Yep.
And what that really means, as we get comfy.
Yeah, welcome.
Let's get in here. Oh, did you see those shoes though first? Let's just see these shoes.
What?
We won't even tell you they're Dr. Scholl's. Okay, so what we really want to talk about is that these are our opportunities to look at our conditioning and to honor change. And what does that mean? Like a heart-centered rebel is somebody who's willing to look. Like it's hard to look at some of those where we came from, right? Like, and often in schools and things like that, we kind of just want to wash over pain and the kinds of oppression that we've seen in our society since its colonization. So we wanted to kind of talk about the both and of this and what it looks like to recondition.
Yeah, and the practice of it. We're a culture of a lot of shame and blame. And in our work, we realize that those are not places to land to create sustainable heart-centered change. It's part of the human experience, but there's a different way of looking at things that's from a place of curiosity and compassion and claiming a sense of empowered choice. Because the fact is, we are all conditioned and we have choice about how we engage with the stories that are handed to us and the traditions. So this is a video a lot about tradition and how to be with tradition consciously.
Right. Because traditions are often representations of our conditioning. And we have a choice, like we can look at them and say, okay, I honor my family, I honor my lineage, I honor connection,
community, gathering.
Mm-hmm.
These are sacred things.
Right. And so you can hold Thanksgiving. The idea of Thanksgiving is beautiful, right? Like this amazing idea around gratitude. There's a lot that can be held, but we also have to be willing to look deeper. And like for me, for example, just a surface level of that is that, I grew up in a household in which my mom cooked all day long and my dad played or watched football. And so there was deep conditioning around that polarization in our household, whose duty was what?
Gendered.
Very gendered. Yeah. And so like one of the things that we've chosen in my marriage and in our household is that we don't cook. We actually support a local business. And we have for several years now, we've chosen different restaurants that we've ordered our entire Thanksgiving meal from. And so that way we're supporting a local business and we're getting the time together because that's really what we want, right? Like it's about the time. Now, if you love to cook, go for it. But I don't. I mean, I do sometimes, but I don't want to have to be responsible for all. Like, I don't want to stick my hand up a turkey's ass.
Nah, no. Same. Yeah, and we've been in conversation about how we're meeting the holiday this year. And part of me, I can have some ferocity about my decision making. Y'all who know me get it. But I was like, ooh, Thanksgiving. Like, I just am so connected to the root energy of where this holiday came from that I was like, so that's a feeling that can shift into new traditions, new stories, and empowered choice. So I talked with my partner, and what we are doing is we're going into the woods. We are taking our cute little camper and going into the woods, and we're speaking to our values, which are really like community, gathering for people who want and need a place to gather that don't have it readily available. My family has a lot of independence in our value system. So my family's doing their own thing, and that's great. I love my family. And there's a call to simplicity for me this year, and a call to connect in with the sacred aspect of the origin of this holiday, which when I think of Native peoples and Native Americans, I think of deep connection to the earth and deep connection to community and collaboration and like this beautiful sacred aspect of it. When I think of my family gatherings, and again, I love my family tremendously, I think of overindulgence. I think of people stressing out in the kitchen about getting everything done. I think of over controlling and over planning of the menu. And that to me is not what I want my Thanksgiving to feel like. So we are going to be, having campfire Thanksgiving and seeing who comes into our campsite to play. And these are the things, these are the questions that we need to lean into in order to be true creators of a new way and a new story. And that's, we often talk about the pause. Yeah. It's just that breath of like, what are my values?
Yeah.
What do I feel? What do I think? And what do I desire? And what feels most right and true? And then daring to change.
Yeah. If it's in alignment, right? Like, I think sometimes that pause is just enough space for you to say, wait, just wait. What do I know? And how do I feel about what I know? Because we just don't take enough time to feel like we know things, but we don't really check in with our body. Like, what does that knowing feel like? I know for, Megan tends to live in the land of emotions. So she's always like, I feel it first. And I live in the land of my mind. And I don't always check in with my body, and so I think that we're going into a time of year where this is a really great time to really be in the body, right? As we move out of this late summer, out of the fall, and we start to, I know, poor Megan, it's my favorite, but poor Megan. And as we move into winter is a time to go inward, right? So, and it's a time to let go of old stuff. It's the time to do this sacred composting of the shit from the year, like gathering what was great. That's this time of year, like gathering what we're grateful for,
the harvest.
Gathering it all together, the harvest, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and then taking it in and saying, okay, what do I need to compost? What do I need to let go of? Or we're moving into that stage. And so Thanksgiving to me is a really amazing time to really look at your year and find what you're really grateful for. Let that assimilate, like get the nourishment out of it, get the nutrients out of it in your body. So as you move past Thanksgiving and into this crazy busy season of, we'll do another video about that. And like, how do I keep finding that stillness and that inner knowing, my North Star?
Yep. Yeah. And knowing, this is the holy both and coming in, that changes. Like, that's the thing that I think our culture isn't great at, is we decide a thing and then grab it real hard. Yeah. And so as you're exploring your traditions, as you're exploring what wants to be released, as you're exploring your inner alignment, know that your sacred responsibility is to know what that is right now. Right. Knowing that this time next year, it may be really different, and that we as humans we change. We aren't meant to stay the same. I know, right? That's my brand right there.
I was gonna say,
change and change on change on change.
Yeah.
So some compassion and humanity in that is also important. Like, I may want to have a bomb ass Thanksgiving gathering in my home next year, and it might look more traditional, but for right now, what feels most honoring of the truth is going to the woods, right? So that's the other thing we invite you to be with, is the flexibility of your humanity and your knowing and needs.
Absolutely. And we encourage you to just look at where that is right now. What is it that you want to look at this Thanksgiving? Where can you find connection, even if it isn't community, right? So like, a lot of places, it's privileged to have community, right? So just honoring, like, what is my community? What is my connection that I can find in this time? And what do I need from that? And then what beliefs do I want to challenge in this time? And how can I look at those things and hold them softly?
Mm-hmm. And it might not be about community for you at all. It might be about giving yourself permission to not.
Totally.
So, welcome to Paradox Central. We're Megan and Laura signing off. Happy time of heart-centered rebellion. of deconditioning and fiercely courageous reconditioning.
Absolutely. But